Welcome to our channel. Today, we're uncovering the hidden treasures behind some of the rarest Lincoln pennies ever minted, coins that could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Stick around, because you won't believe what some of these pennies are selling for. What if I told you that one of the most ordinary coins in your pocket might not be ordinary at all? A coin you've probably seen 100 times, one you've maybe even tossed aside without a second thought, could be something incredibly rare. A piece of metal worth far more than its tiny face value suggests. You might have walked right past it, spent it at a vending machine, or dropped it in a donation jar. But there's one particular penny out there, one made in 1983, that hides a secret only a few have ever discovered. It all starts with a decision made behind closed doors at the US Mint. In the early 1980s, the country was dealing with rising inflation and increasing metal costs. Copper, in particular, was getting expensive. So expensive, in fact, that producing a penny made of 95% copper actually cost more than 1 cent. Something had to change. And in 1982, it did. The US Mint began transitioning from copper-based pennies to a new composition, a zinc core coated in copper. It was a subtle change. Visually, the new coins looked almost identical to the old ones. But the difference was critical. The new zinc pennies weighed less and were significantly cheaper to produce. By 1983, the transition was supposed to be complete. Every new penny minted that year was meant to follow the new standard, but sometimes, even the most carefully planned systems slip. And that's exactly what happened. Somehow, during the minting process in Denver, a small number of older copper planchets, the blank discs used to strike pennies, were mixed in with the new zinc ones. These leftover copper planchets had been meant for retirement. Instead, they were accidentally fed into the minting presses and struck with the 1983 design, and just like that, a mistake was born. One that would go unnoticed by nearly everyone at the time. The result? A 1983 penny made not from zinc, like every other coin that year, but from the older, now discontinued copper alloy. These coins weren't supposed to exist. And yet, against all odds, they do. Not many. Just a few. But enough to drive coin collectors into a frenzy the moment the first one was discovered. What's especially fascinating about this error is how invisible it is to the average person. The design on the front is the same. The Lincoln profile, the "In God We Trust," the Liberty inscription, the 1983 date, and a small D mint mark signifying the Denver Mint, none of it gives the secret away. On the reverse side, it's the same Lincoln Memorial design, the same United States of America, and 1 cent inscriptions. So how do you know if you found one of these ultra-rare coins? The answer lies in the details. Or more specifically, in the weight. The standard 1983 penny, made of zinc, weighs about 2.5 grams. But these rare copper versions? They come in at approximately 3.11 grams. It's not something you can feel just by holding it. But put it on a precise scale, and that small difference tells a big story. For seasoned collectors, this error is one of the holy grails. A 1983 penny that shouldn't exist. A copper coin born in a zinc-only era. An accidental survivor of a transition that was meant to be absolute. It's not just a rare coin, it's a glimpse into the chaos and imperfection that sometimes sneaks into even the most structured systems. And then, there's the hunt. For every known example of the 1983 copper penny, there might be more out there waiting to be found. In jars of loose change. In dusty old drawers. In the spare pennies you get from the grocery store. The very idea that one of these could be sitting unnoticed in circulation makes the search all the more exciting. But the 1983 copper penny isn't the only interesting story from that year. Coin collectors also keep an eye out for double die errors, coins where the design has been struck twice, slightly off, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on the lettering. One of the most well-known of these is the 1983 double die reverse. You'll find doubling on the words E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 1 cent. These are highly collectible in their own right and can fetch impressive prices, though still not quite like the mysterious 1983 copper penny. As with all valuable coins, authentication is key. Finding a heavy penny from 1983 is just the first step. From there, it should be sent to a professional grading service to verify its composition and authenticity. Experts will examine the coin under high magnification, test its metal content, and confirm that it truly is what it appears to be. Only then can its full value be realized, which brings us to the most anticipated part of the story. Imagine going through a handful of old change, expecting nothing, only to discover you're holding a piece of minting history. A coin that defied the odds. A penny that, because of one small oversight, became one of the most valuable modern American coins ever discovered. So how much can a 1983 D copper penny actually be worth? Not $1. Not $100. Not even a few thousand. The answer is jaw-dropping. A verified, authenticated 1983 D copper penny, minted in error, preserved by chance, and discovered by only a select few, has been valued as high as $89,000. That's right. $89,000. For 1 cent, and that's not a legend or a collector's fantasy. It's a real number. Proven. Paid, all because a few bronze blanks, forgotten in the corners of a minting facility, found their way into the presses and came out looking like any other penny. Coins that blend in, quietly holding secrets worth small fortunes. Second rare coin. They say finding one rare coin is a once-in-a-lifetime event. But what if there's a second one? Another hidden treasure. Another piece of pocket change that could be worth far, far more than anyone ever imagined. Most people have heard the story of the 1983 D copper penny. It shocked collectors with its value and rarity. But quietly, behind the scenes, another coin has been gaining attention. One that looks just as ordinary. One that's even harder to spot. And one that could be hiding in plain sight. This is the story of the 1986 D penny. America's second great copper era. A coin that wasn't supposed to exist. A coin that could be sitting in a change jar or desk drawer right now. To most, it looks like any other. But to those who know what to look for, it's something extraordinary. The year is 1986. Ronald Reagan is president. Gas is under $1. And across the country, billions of pennies are rolling out of the U.S. Mint. By this time, the copper era of American pennies is over. The shift to zinc was made years earlier, in 1982. Copper had become too expensive. The cost of minting a 1-cent coin using copper was greater than the coin's actual value. So the U.S. Mint changed course. Starting in 1982, all new pennies were minted with a zinc core, coated in a thin layer of copper. These new pennies were lighter, cheaper, and easier to mass-produce. And by 1986, the transition was complete. Or at least, that's what everyone believed, but somehow, deep inside the Denver Mint, something unexpected happened. Among the endless stream of copper-plated zinc planchets, a few old copper blanks, leftovers from before the switch, were accidentally fed into the system. These copper planchets, heavier and thicker than the new zinc ones, were struck with the standard 1986 design. Then they were released into circulation, just like the rest. No one noticed. No alarms went off. Just another penny, they thought, and so, a small number of 1986 D pennies were minted using copper planchets. An error that no one knew existed. Until years later, when collectors began weighing coins and found something that didn't add up. To the naked eye, these copper 1986 D pennies are identical to the zinc versions. They feature Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and the familiar D mint mark below the date. There's nothing visually unusual. No doubling, no misprint, no missing design. But underneath the surface, everything is different. The key lies in the weight. A standard 1986 D zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. But these copper era coins weigh closer to 3.11 grams. It's a small difference, almost impossible to detect by hand. But put the coin on a precise digital scale, and the truth becomes clear. That small weight change unlocks a much bigger story. Only a handful of these copper 1986 D pennies have ever been confirmed. Just a few coins, out of billions produced. The odds of finding one are incredibly low. And yet, they're out there. Undiscovered. Unidentified. Waiting. A coin jar in someone's basement. A dusty old roll of pennies picked up at a garage sale. Even loose change at the bottom of a backpack. The idea that such a coin could still be circulating is what keeps collectors hunting. For those in the know, the search becomes personal. Some buy boxes of pennies from banks, hunting through roll after roll. Others scan online marketplaces, estate sales, or old collections. The dream is always the same, to find that one penny. The one that breaks the odds, but discovery is only the beginning. Once a potential copper penny from 1986 is found, it must be authenticated. Weight is just the first step. To truly prove a coin's composition, it needs to be tested and examined by a professional grading service. Experts analyze the metal content, check for signs of tampering, and confirm its legitimacy. Only after passing these tests can a coin be considered a genuine 1986 D copper error. And only then can its true value be determined. Of course, not all examples are created equal. Like with any rare coin, condition matters. A worn coin, circulated for years, will fetch less than one in mint state condition. But even circulated versions of this coin carry significant value due to their rarity alone. What makes this error so compelling is how ordinary it appears. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't look broken. It's not missing anything. It's exactly what it's supposed to be, until you weigh it, and that's what fascinates collectors. It's the idea that something so valuable could be hiding in a place no one would ever think to look. That a penny, the lowest denomination in American currency, could secretly be one of the rarest coins in modern U.S. history. It's not just a coin. It's a mystery. A fluke. A mistake that somehow survived the mint's quality control and made its way into the hands of the public. A mistake that turned into a legend that there's no accurate count of how many were made. Maybe a dozen. Maybe fewer. Maybe a few more still waiting to be discovered. The uncertainty adds to the excitement. Every 1986 D penny becomes a potential treasure. So what's the value of this forgotten mistake? What's this little coin really worth? This is the part that shocks people the most, that if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare 1986 D copper pennies, and it's verified, in great condition, and professionally graded, you're not looking at pocket change. You're looking at a coin that could be worth up to $82,000, and that's not a theoretical price. That's real money. Collectors and investors are willing to pay for a coin that never should have existed. Third rare penny, the 2001 no mint mark penny. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin you might find in your pocket or scattered loose in a jar. But for those who know the story, this small piece of copper-plated zinc holds a remarkable secret. It's a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and numismatists alike, a modern-day rarity hiding in plain sight. To understand why this penny is so special, we have to travel back to 2001. That year, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, most of them at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins minted in Philadelphia traditionally do not carry a mint mark, unlike those struck in Denver or San Francisco, which bear a D or an S respectively. So, a penny without a mint mark from Philadelphia wouldn't normally raise any eyebrows. It was business as usual. However, somewhere along the way, a rare anomaly occurred. A small number of these pennies were produced without the mint mark where it was expected. This small detail, a missing letter or mark, made all the difference. Why does this matter so much? Mint marks aren't just tiny letters on coins, they tell a story about where and how a coin was produced. For collectors, these details can dramatically influence a coin's rarity and value. The absence of a mint mark on a coin where one should be present is known as a mint mark error, and such errors often become prized finds. The 2001 penny itself carries the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. His profile, facing right, has been a fixture on the penny for over a century. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall, a symbol of unity and remembrance, etched with intricate detail. The coin is composed mostly of zinc with a thin layer of copper, a change made by the mint starting in 1982 to reduce production costs. While billions of pennies were minted that year, only a very small fraction were struck without the Philadelphia mint mark. This makes the 2001 no-mint mark penny extremely rare in the vast sea of ordinary coins. And this rarity is what makes it so exciting for collectors who love to hunt for these anomalies, but rarity alone isn't enough to turn a coin into a treasure. Condition matters just as much. A penny that's been well preserved, showing little to no wear, with clear details and no discoloration, is far more valuable than one that's been beaten up after years of circulation. Collectors often seek coins graded at the highest levels, indicating a near-perfect condition. Authenticating the coin is a critical step. Because mint mark errors can be difficult to spot, professional graders and numismatic experts carefully examine the coin's features to confirm its authenticity. They look for signs that the missing mint mark isn't the result of damage or alteration but an actual error during production. The process of authentication can be thrilling. It involves detailed scrutiny under magnification, weight measurements, and sometimes even advanced testing of the metal composition. Only after passing these rigorous checks does a coin earn the coveted status of a genuine 2001 no-mint mark penny. Imagine the thrill of discovering one of these pennies in your own collection or loose change. It looks like a typical 2001 penny, but when you examine it closely or have it weighed and authenticated, you realize it's something much more valuable. Suddenly, that small coin is no longer just a penny, it's a rare piece of American minting history. Collectors from all over seek out this era penny, and competition to find and own one has grown steadily over the years. Its rarity, combined with the story it tells, gives it a mystique that few modern coins possess. It's a coin that represents not only a financial opportunity but also a fascinating glimpse into the inner workings of the mint, and the rare mistakes that slip through quality control. So what kind of value are we talking about for such a coin? How much could this rare 2001 no-mint mark penny fetch in today's market? The answer might surprise you. A genuine 2001 no-mint mark penny, authenticated and in excellent condition, can be worth up to $37,000. That's right, $37,000 for a single penny. It's a stunning example of how a tiny detail, something as small as a missing letter, can transform an everyday coin into a valuable collector's item. And it serves as a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected treasures are hidden in the smallest places. So next time you find a 2001 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Examine it carefully. Because it might just be one of the rarest pennies out there, holding a secret value far beyond its face. Who knows? That little penny in your hand might just be your ticket to a fortune. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more fascinating stories about rare coins and collectibles, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting, and share it with your friends and fellow collectors. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me about the rarest coin you've ever found or what coin you're hoping to discover next. Your stories and questions make this community so special. Thanks again for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Happy collecting!